Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Baal Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Baal Hashem, Rekakwadash, double honors to the apostles, the elders, salutations to you, sincere brothers, teaching and truth and sincerity. Lesson will be entitled The Accuser of Our Brethren. The story of Kyron, Lacey. Lord will you are edified. Video was inspired from the YouTube platform Clasher Sports for use and titled He's Innocent. New evidence clears LSU wide receiver Kyron Lacey after fatal crash. Again, fair use.
We've learned a former LSU wide receiver who was facing criminal charges in Louisiana died during a police pursuit right here in Houston. Now, here's what the Harris County Sheriff's Office is telling us tonight. It started after 11 Saturday night. Deputies with the Precinct 4 Constable's Office were called to a weapons disturbance. Apparently, Lacey was having an argument with a family member when he fired a gun into the ground. Now, by the time deputies arrived, Lacey had left. 20 minutes later, a unit spotted Lacey's vehicle and tried to stop him. There was a chase that went on for several miles, but ended when Lacey crashed along Aldine Westfield Road. When deputies were getting him from the vehicle, they found what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. HCSO believes the shot was fired during the chase.
Okay, what's up, guys? So we got some pretty crazy news coming from the football world. That clip I just played you was from 5 months ago when LSU wide receiver Kyron Lacey killed himself from a self-inflicted gunshot wound after being chased by police. This was a result of a police report months earlier from last year that stated that the receiver was to blame for a car crash that killed a 78-year-old man. The report stated that Lacey was passing cars recklessly at high speeds, crossing the center line, forcing one car traveling in the opposite lane to crash into another vehicle. And days later, Kyron Lacey was charged with negligent homicide, felony hit and run, and reckless operation of a vehicle. And this is right around the time the kid announced his entry into the 2025 NFL Draft, so all this obviously weighed heavily on his mind. His future was in jeopardy as he could have faced serious prison time, and then months later in April of this year, he took his own life. That said, a new bombshell interview just dropped with Lacey's attorney Matthew Ori, who revealed new information surrounding the charges involving his former client. Listen to this clip of Lacey's attorney with the new evidence he dropped, pretty much exonerating his client.
Yeah, so what you'll see is in the top left of the screen, you're going to see multiple cars just making their way south to Thibodaux, coming from Battery. At some point in time, you're going to see the collision, which we're going to know is vehicle number 2 from oncoming traffic colliding with the vehicle of Mr. Hall. You will see another vehicle come to a stop, and then you'll see Kyron Lacey come to a stop.
So as we've seen the video, it looks like the impact happens, and then
This young man was framed.
Kyron Lacey is behind him. How far away was he from there?
Well, yeah, that's the beauty of the investigative report that I now have my hands on. We know from data that Kyron Lacey did, in fact, pass 4 cars. There's no disputing that. Further north, Kyron Lacey passed 4 cars. However, he was back in his lane of travel, 92.3 yards. Back in his lane, behind Mr. Hall. At the time of impact, he's 72.6 yards behind the vehicles at the time of impact. Keyword, behind the vehicles. That is not how the story was ever painted. Never.
Any part of the district attorney's investigation that talked about Mr. Lacey getting back, I guess we call it, what do you call it, correcting or getting in your proper lane?
Sure, he was back in his proper lane according to their data. This isn't my expert. This is the investigation of the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office. So I'm here simply comparing and contrasting the District Attorney's Office with state police in this matter. Their investigations. And in that investigation.
So, look, don't worry about filling any of this top information, like your name, address. Don't worry about any of that. Just right here, if you could, I'll just have you write exactly what you saw. Just make sure to include, where you were.
I don't even know what the name of that highway.
It's Highway 20. Highway 20. That you just.
All right, me and my wife gonna fill out right quick.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes and the brakes, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's.
I ain't scared my car. That's what I wasn't even going for me. That lady in the back of me, she.
Why is he implicating that charger?
So what's happening? That's how she called that record. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side. And that's not in it.
So, but the charger was coming right at you, correct? And that's why you had to.
So you heard what Jake said. Jake didn't say anything about a fucking charger. But Esau is.
When you break the head on with you. So yeah, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's.
I ain't scared my car. That's what I wasn't even going for me. The lady in the back of me, she didn't know what happened. That's how she called that wreck. She was running in the back of me and she pulled on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
He said she caused that wreck. She caused that wreck.
So, but the charger was coming right at you, correct?
Here go Esau. But the charger, but the charger, but the charger.
And that's why you had to slam on your brake, head on with you. So yeah, just make sure you include that, and that's very important because we're trying to locate this charger right now. So just include that in the statement, and I'll read it over, and then I'll be out of here.
In that.
So wait a minute. Let's get a precept. Revelation chapter 12 and 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength. Yahushua has destroyed the rulership of Esau Edom, and the kingdom of our power, and the power of Mashiach, in a nutshell, the kingdom of heaven. For the accuser, okay, the Edomites, Esau, so-called white people, again, so-called white people, based on the lineage of their fathers, which goes back to who? Their progenitor, Esau. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down. Cast down from what? His rulership, his throne, his dominion, his kingdom, which accused them before our power day and night. Okay, so they have witches and warlocks, okay, praying to the Most High on the left-hand side, informing Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, what we're doing on earth. Okay, the sins that they lay out perfectly in music, in food, okay, so on and so forth. But they inform the Most High what we're doing when you're setting the fucking booby traps. And in the case of Kyron Lacey, okay, you framed this young man. You sabotaged, you destroyed his career. And allegedly, he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. We just don't know. We don't know.
That video, you can clearly hear the suggestive nature, indicating that I need you to say that you had to slam on your brakes, and you had.
Again. The accuser of our brethren. Okay.
Had to avoid a charger.
Oh, and just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes, and the brakes, like, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger, and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's
$69 special
so
forces.
What do you think Kyron Lacey is doing now? I'll show you. Let's go to 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 7. Therefore said the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness. Okay, hence his mouthpiece, the prophets. Okay, let me get Hosea chapter 12 and verse 10. I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. Okay, the point is, I have also spoken by the prophets. And since I said that, let me go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5 and verse 1. Then shall the righteous men, the prophets, stand in great boldness via the Holy Spirit before the face of such as have afflicted him, the Edomites, okay, and their joint heirs, these other nations, and made no account of his labors. Okay, the point is, then shall the prophets stand in great boldness before the Edomites, okay, which have afflicted us. All right, so with that being said, let's go back to 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 8. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer or allow them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. All their wicked deeds and acts, okay, will not go unpunished. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood cry unto me, beginning with the prophets, right? And think about this. Lacey is an Israelite. So when he got to the spiritual realm, okay, after Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai gave him his report, or Yahweh Shai gave him his report, guess what? He knows he's an Israelite. And he knows that so-called white people are Edomites. And he's complaining to Yahweh and Yahweh Shai on how wicked this world is. And regarding him, how he was framed for being at a crime, okay, that he didn't even commit, an accident that he didn't even have anything to do with, but he was implicated in that. So he's crying to Yahweh and Yahweh Shai for that unjust deed that Edomite did to him. His career was sabotaged. Okay? Behold, the innocent and righteous blood, hence Lacey, cry unto me. He's complaining. And the spirits of the just complain continually. Okay? So when our people report back to the spiritual realm, they are complaining to Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. Okay? Please bring an end to this man's rulership. Okay? So think about this again. And the spirits of the just complain continually. And that's why it will be what? A rejoicing in the spiritual realm. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you that dwell in them. Rejoice, you heavens. So who is in the heavens? Okay, who's in the spiritual realm? You have Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. Okay, you have Israelites that are in their right mind. It's like in their right mind. And they're complaining, according to 2 Ezra 15 and 8. The spirits of the just complain continually. All right. So that's why there's going to be a rejoice in the spiritual realm. Right? Yahweh is rejoicing. Yahweh Shah is rejoicing. Okay? Our loved ones and fellow brethren are rejoicing. Okay? About the downfall of this man, the end of his rulership, that impending doom that Esau is going to face. That's why there's going to be a rejoice, a great rejoice in the heavens. Right? So therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you that dwell in them. These are the Israelites. Okay, complaining as well to the Most High, to Yahweh Shai. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knows that he has but a short time to do what? To attain his new world order. And also a disclaimer. Also in the spiritual realm, you have the other nations too. Okay? So you have the other nations on the left of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. And on the right, you have who? The Israelites. Okay, beginning with the prophets. Okay, and everything in the spiritual realm is done decently and in order. Okay. Let's go to Nahum chapter 3 and verse 1. Woe to the bloody city, America. It is all full of lies. From the conception of America, it was built on lies, murder, bloodshed, robbery. Okay? It is all full of lies, and robbery, the prey departeth not. And who's the prey? The Israelites. Okay, we are yet this day in our captivity. Hence, Baruch 3 and 8. But this is the point. It is all full of lies. And regarding Lacey, okay, they implicated him. They made it appear that he was in the wrong. Okay, and he wasn't mentally strong enough to bear their burden. And eventually, okay, he did something to himself, allegedly. So woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies. And again, we can associate the story of Kyron Lacey. Okay. Let's go to Psalm 58 and verse 3. The wicked, okay, the Edomites, according to Malachi 1 and 4, are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So this is the personality trait and behavior trait of the Edomites. They are liars. And also, again, we can associate what? The story of Kyron Lacey. Okay.
Device turns men into beasts. It emulates 54,000
But then you hear Gold Truck, the witness who's the Gold Truck, what he says. And he says verbatim.
I ain't skid mark on that, but I wasn't even going for it. That lady in the back of me, she didn't know what happened. That's how she called that record. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side. And I didn't.
I didn't skid marked or nothing because I wasn't even going that fast. That lady in the back of me, she didn't see what's happening. That's how she caused that wreck. She was going to run into the back of me, and she pulled into the other side.
Okay, so there you have it. This is crazy that the police would ever do something like this. They basically framed an innocent man, a young man, into believing that he was the reason for the death of another. Like, I don't know how callous you have to be as a human to do that to another person. You basically ruined this kid's life by putting him in a tough situation, and this obviously sent Kyron into a downward spiral, dealing with all the pressure and public scrutiny from this accident. I'm pretty sure the youngster was vilified everywhere on social media because of this crash, something he didn't even do. So I really feel bad for the family because nothing they ever do will ever bring back their son. I'm sure they're going to sue the police department, but still, that's not going to bring Kyron back. Honestly, the police officer and the department needs to be held accountable for this, especially the cop who tried to coerce one of the witnesses to imply that the accident was caused by Kyron in his witness statement. That is downright grimy shit. Anyways, guys, what do you all think about this story? Let me know in the comment section below.
It's been rough some days. Some days I feel good. Some days I might hear a song that me and him that sung in the car together on our rides just gonna work.
So Lord will, this was edifying. Shalom.